Greetings and happy Friday, y'all. Happy Ghetto Fairy Friday. Okay. All right. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, I'm not well rested, so I'm gonna give it my best. Okay. I'm gonna show up, do the best to my capacity. I'm gonna try not to go too out there, give you guys what you need, not give you guys too much, right? But yeah, welcome everybody to our Ghetto Fairy Friday this evening. I hope everybody's doing well, that you guys are enjoying your weekends or getting it started, getting it all together. Hey, Christina, how are you? Happy Friday. Okay, hold on. I know the sound is okay. I just want to. Okay. Yeah, so how was everybody's Friday? You guys doing good? Everybody's happy? Everybody's well? So tonight we're gonna go ahead and tap into the new moon energy in Sagittarius, and we're gonna be talking about the energies around it. So this isn't about the cliche new moon magic stuff. Hopefully you guys will find something of value in this if you guys are into doing the spiritual work, doing some inner reflecting, doing some new moon reflections and work, and not just magic and intentions, but like also kind of give you guys some tips on properly setting new moon intentions with this new moon that's closing the year out and moving into the new year. So, we're going to tap into more of an intentional direction, more from prophetic closure and a reset with this energy. So, for those of you guys that are not familiar with Sagittarius, energy or too much of the zodiac, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is that planet of expansion or growth, destiny level movement we're talking about. So, under this new moon that we're in, I believe it's tonight officially. Hey, Tawanda, how are you, sis? But officially tonight, it is a new moon in Sagittarius. So we're not just focusing on setting intentions and the cliche stuff like that. We're reflecting and we're also focusing on resetting. All right. So um I will pull some cards, but I do feel like what makes this energy, you know, powerful is like the time that we're in, like how it falls. So this year, we're closing out the year of the nine. 2025 is numerology wise, it's number nine, which deals with endings, completions, and mastery. And then next year, 2026, we're preparing for a year of the 10 or the year of the one, right? So that's the reset energy, that's return of self, our divine individuality, our divine identity. So yeah, Sagittarius energy is just kind of standing in that middle of that transition. Um the Sagittarius energy too, like I just had like a lot of downloads. So I'm gonna be like going over some of my notes as well. Um Jupiter is also going into Gemini, which is the opposite sign of Sag. The husband, Jupiter is the husband sign. I heard of that before. This guy, I can remember his name. I think his name is Jupiter something. He talks about like different husband and wife placements a lot, and I believe he did mention Jupiter. Like that's one way you could find like your husband, like your spouse. Um, but yeah, so let's talk about Sagittarius like as a symbol itself. Like, you know, I do believe in like paying attention to signs and things like that. Some things there are my takes, they're my own spiritual downloads, so it may not always resonate, but Sagittarius is kind of like this half human, half man, and then half like horse, like body, with the arch. That's the typical like sign. Like every zodiac has like a symbol, and that's their symbol. So when I thought about that, I was like, okay, the half human aspect can represent like our conscious self, our flesh, our ego. Sometimes it can even represent like us as physical beings, our identity, our self-awareness, our I am self. um That's what it made me think of. And it's interesting because the year, like I said, 2026, technically like it's 10, but it's a 1 technically, is the energy of like selfhood, sovereignty, our identity. When I think of number 1, I think of the first house, which also rules these different aspects of self. So you know, what is it about ourselves? Like the self focus. And I think I said this a few months ago, and I don't know what it was, like a live reading, or maybe it was just like a discussion. I don't remember. Like, take those few months before this year closed out to have really dive deep into like yourself and who you are, and like what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what your fears are, what are your hopes, what are your desires, like what are you shedding, what's your intention. And then the half horse represents that part of ourselves that's the determination, that forward movement, endurance. When I think of horses, I think of freedom, I think of liberation. I think of stamina and strength when I think of a horse. I think of grace as well when I think of horses. That ability to travel long distances, um, being able to have that momentum and that strength to carry you forward. So, not coming from a place of hustle mentality, because I definitely also, encourage self-regulation and like taking our time and pacing ourselves in flow, because that's healthier. Not putting yourself in this constant survival mode energy, like we're resetting ourselves from that. Okay, so there's a difference between like hustle mentality, survival mode, versus like more of a spiritual stamina. What you have, the will and the strength that you're called to move through, like the strength that you have, like your divine strength, your divine discipline and focus. So yeah. Also, too, I thought this was interesting, the fact that 2026 is the year of the horse in Chinese astrology. So again, I feel like what we're kind of being encouraged is like to decide who we are, that human aspect, decide who we are, how we want to show up, how do we want to present ourselves, and then move with that inner faith and trust in yourself, like the horse would move and flow, move in grace, move in that divine stamina, if you will. So yeah, um, let's get into the new moon energy. Like I said, Sagittarius is definitely that teacher energy, expansion, can be a truth teller as well. Sagittarius people don't hold no punches usually. That ruled by Jupiter, that expansion, that destiny level, that quote unquote luck that Jupiter exudes as well. So this is a portal for us to tap into like greater visions for ourselves. Like this is like, again, it's not this cliche, oh, New Year's resolution, new moon intentions. And I'll get into like what a lot of people miss, and I used to gloss over this very important step when you're trying to set new intentions. It's like a step that most people don't tap into, and they wonder why like things are not moving, they're not happening, or why we're not able to identify when doors are opening, when a blessing is in front of us, or why we may not be ready and why it's not happening yet. So I'll get into that probably towards the end of the live, because we're going to do like a little short ritual like we usually do. But yeah, like, it's a portal for us to tap into like what is a greater vision that we have for ourselves. Setting higher standards for ourselves, not from a place of perfectionism, but from a tone of a place of like what we truly deserve, not playing small, not selling ourselves short. What is truly in alignment? Like who are we actually? So yeah, yeah. Okay, I am gonna pull some cards. I'm probably not gonna. It's not gonna be a long, lengthy reading. Like sometimes I know I can go overboard, so I'm trying to pace myself not to do too much. Um, Another thing that was coming to me, I noticed a lot of people having stomach issues, like having stomach bugs. A lot of people like just kind of feeling sick in the stomach. Just kind of gut health and wellness right now is important, because Sagittarius rules the liver, the hips, the thighs, and just the legs in general. Hence the stamina, that forward movement, the legs, the horse energy. So Sag technically rules over the sacral chakra, if I'm not mistaken. So it would be a good time to do some sort of cleanse or detox, like gut cleansing, like something that's going to help you clear out those stagnant energies. Maybe even doing some yoni steams for the ladies out there, clearing out some sexual traumas, issues around sexual intimacy, fears around that, fears around self expression, like cleanse those air, like do some sort of work around that. Yeah, so yeah, most definitely. I feel like that would be helpful to do during this time to like cleanse out your gut, especially after all this holiday eating. Like some of us, maybe eating a lot of different foods and stuff like that, and our body is just needing to cleanse itself. You can tell, like, if you listen to your body, your stomach, it's telling you if it's irritated or not, or you feel stuffed, you feel constipated, not to get TMI, or um you can tell when you have those blocks. Okay, so I would encourage, like, when it comes to like the sacral chakra specifically, or just like your gut health, um sometimes like the trauma doesn't just disappear because we process it mentally. Sometimes like it imprints itself into our nervous system too, and like parts of our body, or the tissues in our body, the cells in our body, our blood, things like that can also store trauma experiences and things like that. And one of the most affected centers in the sacral chakra is like where our energetic, I call it our crystal ball, like our solar plexus is our crystal ball. The sacral chakra is kind of also connected in those regions, kind of in a sense. Like anywhere between the digestive system, the liver, um, those are the most affected centers in the sacral chakra, where our emotions lie, our pleasures, our creativity, maybe even our, like, us feeling safe, like our, just our overall security or safety feeling. And that can also tie into the root chakra as well, that sense of security and safety. So, that's just from a little bit of a clinical perspective, I guess you can say, where these things, they can affect our lower abdomen, our hips, maybe even our pelvises, our reproductive systems and stuff like that. If we don't regulate our emotions, there's all types of attachments and things that could affect our flow, our emotional well-being, our physical well-being. So, this governs our ability to feel too. It governs our ability to feel, how we receive, how we create, how we connect. Do we feel safe in our bodies? Do we feel safe in our environment? So when trauma is like in the mix of all of that, your flow of these energetic fields, they'll get disrupted. If that makes sense. So one of the ways you can tell, like, your sacral chakra, there might be some impact there, like some trauma there, is like, again, like your emotional state. So even your emotional or sexual trauma can fracture the body's sense of security or safety, um, which can lead to like shame. Sometimes it can lead to guilt. It can lead to a mistrust of self, mistrust of others, distrust of spirit, things like that. Difficulty with intimacy. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean like physical, sexual intimacy, but like feeling connectivity, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, so on and so forth. It could even affect our motivation as well, not because like something is wrong, but more so because the nervous system has learned to protect itself. So if you are someone that lives in survival mode, has always been in a survival mode type of energy, you know what I'm talking about. It's like it's natural to you to always be on go, or to always be alert, or to wait for the shoe to drop type of energy. You know what I'm talking about. So it's good to clear that out. Emotional neglect also, emotional neglect will teach us that the body itself needs what it needs, or what it may feel like it's lacking, like where our needs are not being met. Like there's another way to detect that. Over time, this can result in like our insecurities, our emotional like numbing, right? This could lead to like comfort eating sometimes. Um, it's kind of like it also gives like this energy of not feeling worthy, suppressing or denial or pushing away the very things that you deserve. Simple pleasure. So it suppresses your pleasure. It suppresses your creativity too, or it blocks your creativity, especially when like your joy, your desire, or self-expression may have been shamed or torn down or attacked at some point in your life, which can cause the body again to associate pleasure with danger or shutting it down. And it shuts down essentially like your natural flow, like your natural just like beingness, if that makes sense. So, our early development, like if we had trauma during our like our early developmental stages in our life, those deep patterns can affect not just the physical body, but the psyche. So when it affects you, it can shape how you experience, again, safety and security, how your attachment styles, your desires later in life, whether you are leading to your pure desires or you leading from a place of safety, security, what's taught, what's suppressed, or settling for certain things. Yeah, so our body usually will speak before our mind even catches up sometimes. Like our subconscious self is aware, we're getting the signals from our body, but sometimes like to consciously understand and be aware of the physical signs, like we may be late to that. So some of the physical signs of like this blockages in the sacral chakra is your lower back. You might feel a lot of pain. You might have some hip tightness. Your menstrual cycles being irregular or heavy, urinary issues, maybe even reproductive challenges. I'm not a healthcare physician. This is just um, things that I've gathered, experienced. Emotional patterns, they can like manifest itself as like mood swings and stuff like that, anxiety, maybe depression, like emotional shutdowns, addictive behaviors, or just having a hard time or difficulty expressing yourself. Psychologically, this will include like low self-worth or low self-esteem or fear of connection, fear of intimacy, difficulty receiving, difficulty being present and content or receiving joy, receiving pleasure, maybe even feeling disconnected from creativity and desires, like I said. So this isn't like a flaw per se. It's more so of just like your body's way of letting you know, hey, something, we got to work through this, right? Yeah. Some ways that you can heal the sacral chakra or do like some energy works, integrating some energy work is like, um, first off though, it's when I talk about like doing healing work, sometimes it can come off as like a chore to hear us like, oh, I gotta heal this, I gotta do that. It sounds like a chore sometimes. And I don't want anyone to take their healing process as that. It's not a chore. It is essential, yes, but it should be something that is act of self love for you, an act of self care. So, true healing isn't about forcing yourself. It's about just, in this instance, the sacral chakra, it's about restoring our safety, allowing ourselves to flow or return to that flow naturally, however, whatever that looks like for you. So, you can do like things like mindful movements, such as like hip opening, exercises or yoga if you're into that, stretches that release tension, help you to reestablish that awareness of your body. So that can come through fitness, can come from gentle walks, it can come from running or jogging or doing some treadmill work, something like that. Um, you can also do things like creative expressions, whether that's through like art, whether that's through dance, most definitely through dance, anything with your legs, your hips, that's important. Writing, journaling, that sort of thing, which allows us to, it allows our emotions to move through our body rather than like being trapped. It has an outlet, pretty much. You can do water therapy, like swimming, take baths, healing centered baths, or sitting near a body of water intentionally, just kind of grounding yourself and in that energy, which also can support our emotional regulation. It also can speak of that fluidity, that flow. Water is the natural flow of things. Like that's one of the beautiful nature's way of expressing itself, of like showing us the flow and the current of life, like the body of water. You can do color or sound work, like sound healing, like especially working with orange color tones, frequencies that can energetically stimulate and soothe this area of your body, your sacral chakra, maybe even your solar plexus too. Um, Body-based trauma therapies, like if you could find someone that you trust to do these types of work, someone that is a professional in this, or maybe just finding some sort of meditation or something online that helps you clear with trauma, help you to retain like your nervous system, help you to return back to safety, do some grounding exercises. Ground outside in nature is always a healthy medicine that's just free to us. Um, and of course, moving mindfully with loving energy towards yourself. Like be kind to yourself. Soften more. Like stop self-judging, criticizing yourself so much. Like rebuild trust with yourself. Start that. When your body's speaking to you, listen to your body and what it's telling you. Okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's been proven that trauma is stored in the body. So it's very important, like we check in with our bodies, like our physical vehicles, like our spirit needs to check in, with our physical vehicles. So stress and trauma and stuff like that, it can be a response, um, or manifestation of like, certain things going on in the body. In this instance, with the sacral chakra, like our lower abdomen, our pelvic areas, our hips, our, things like that, areas that are linked to attachments, emotions, and any type of regulation. Yeah, we want to focus on that. So your body is not portraying you, it's communicating to you. That's how I look at it. Our emotions communicate with us, our thoughts are communicating with us, our body, like, it's communicating to us. So when your safety is restored, your pleasure, like you're moving in that, you're at least seeking it, your creativity, that connection will naturally just flow and follow through. Okay. But yeah. So let's get into the reading. So tonight we're gonna read. We're just gonna ask some things like, what cycle is ready to complete, what is the truth that we must honor about ourselves, and what directions are we moving next. Okay. Um, yeah. And I'm gonna tap into like our fire spirit energies, our grounded iron and wood essence and energies. Like, for example, like Oguns, Thors, like that type of energy in our ancestors of, those that walk the earth, the way showers, the keepers of, just taking care of the earth, taking care of Mother Nature, the connection to the divine, the Great Spirit. So we're going to tap into their energy and get their advice and guidance as well. And you can add this into your spiritual work, working with these specific spirits as well. Fire magic for sure, wood magic, like I should start a Patreon because I don't want to like do too much like on YouTube and give too much away. Like these are things that I probably should save as content for my Patreon. Um, how to work with certain ancestral divine spirits and things like that in your spiritual work for those of you that are, because we always can learn from each other. I don't feel like it's only one way to walk this path and it's not just right. This is the only right way and this is the wrong. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's not traditions and everything. Like traditions are meant to be upheld, and some of them are great, some of them are powerful, some of them, if it's not broken, don't fix it, and some things are meant to move with the flow of the times as we evolve. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's see. Spirit, divine source, guide, our angels, our ancestors. Let me timestamp this before I start. I'm gonna do 23 minutes reading. Okay. I'm gonna do 23 minutes as our timestamp. Okay. So yeah, we're tapping into what cycle is ready to complete. As a collective of those who are meant to receive this message, what cycle is ready to complete? There's that word grace. Roots, toolbox, and protection at the bottom. Grace. Feel like you've already laid down a foundation. You did the work that you were supposed to do, and you have the Empress that wanted to come out. It's like this is the cycle that's getting ready to complete. It's like you already know what this is. I don't feel like I can tell each and every one of you specifically because it's different. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that's going to be unique to the collective. That's not all going to be like, oh, but what I can tell you from the surface of it is that it's things that you all have, you know, that you laying down the foundations, you've done the work, and now it's time to properly like move with grace, like move away from something. It's like it's been said and done. You may have outgrown environments and situations where you planted seeds. You might be emotionally attached to certain things because you've given your heart, your all, your love. It's like these are my babies, you know. It's like if you were a teacher and you were teaching a kindergarten class and you grew attached to all the babies in your class, you know them by name, you know all of their personality, their quirks and things like that, you know. And then when it's close to them graduating, it's bittersweet for you, you know. You have to part ways with them. There's something along the lines of this. Are you outgrowing an environment or situations or just an energy, you know? And you're doing it with grace. You've successfully completed whatever this cycle was, and it could have been a long time coming. This could be years. Um, but essentially, Spirit is saying like it's time now. We're divinely protecting you. Um, it's not time to look back. And I feel for some of you, you just don't feel like it's done. You feel I owe a little bit more. I owe a little bit more to this. I owe more devotion. I owe a bit more time and patience. And beneath the protection card was unfinished business. So some of you guys feel that way. Careful of that trap because it feels like it's kind of a loop, something that keeps you obligated with that number 8. It keeps you obligated. It keeps you stuck. Six of Swords. Yeah, it's time. You're progressing. You're progressing outside of this already. Some of you most definitely can resonate with. Um, you could be a Sagittarius or something with tools, weapons like shields, irons, swords. Uh, maybe like the Sagittarius, something with your bow and arrow. Like you may resonate with deities or energies like that. Work with them. Um, you may work with your hands, but I feel like this is you've done the groundwork. Now it's time for you to rest in what you've put forth, what you've done. This is the cycle that's completed. Okay, that's what Spirit is saying. That's the cycle. So, what is the truth that must be honored at this time? Oh, dang, hold on. Wow, the truth that must be honored this time. You have the Magician and the Hangman that flew out. Feel like that truth, honestly, is that you got this. You know what the fuck you doing. You know yourself. You know your power, your magic. It just takes you to look at it from a different angle. Sometimes we don't see our growth, or how much we've actually grown. It takes maybe looking at it from a different perspective or someone else's perspective. Wow. Yeah, like I said, some of you guys may work with your hands or you're a creative person or you've done the groundwork. You've been in your garden planting the seeds, nurturing them, watering. You put in the energy. You've been there, you've done that. You've been there and you've done that. Okay? It just might take you. I keep picking up Ogun. Like for those of you that are familiar with the Orisha Ogun, I keep picking up his energy. Um some of you guys, you are being called to do some sort of spiritual work with cleansing, with money. God, I'm trying to say different things. Money tried to come out of my mouth. That's not what I wanted to say, but I was about to say money for some reason. So like maybe your relationship with money needs some healing work. Okay. You got cleanse, spiritual work, and divine mother. Um, there's some healing work that needs to take place when it comes to your trust, allowing yourself to be received and to be loved, to feel that safety and security through the divine feminine energy, divine mother energy. Maybe it's calling you to do some work with your own mother energy, but your relationship with receptivity does need work. Um, this is a truth that you must realize before you close the cycle out, is that this might be something like spirit's telling you, like, okay, we got to do the spiritual work here. There's some cleansing around this that needs to take place. Your power, your magnetism, your magus, your magician energy requires you to be able to receive and wield in the power, even if it's already yours. It's something that's inside of you. You have to be able to tap fully in it by receiving it. If you're denying it or unaware of it or have been taught that it was negative, some of you guys may need to work with some pink, maybe some rose energy. I'm getting like the symbolism of like the divine holy mother, working with the divine mother energy, the Virgin Mary, or the depiction of a divine feminine energy, something with roses. Um, this is like devotional energy. This is softness. This is compassion. Okay, that you're being guided to step into. So this is a truth that you must honor. This is what Spirit's saying. This is what you got to honor this. And the Queen of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, some of you guys are fire signs. Some of you guys, your deities, they're nurturing to their children, but they could still be warriors, warrioress. They could still be protectress. You know, that feline feminine energy with that black cat. It could be that this is the energy that you're being called to tap into. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Where does this? I'm going to tap into Jupiter's gift to you. With Jupiter's gift, where is growth, opportunity, or favor opening up for you at this time? This Jupiter energy of Sagittarius. What is the gift? Planet Jupiter's energy is opening up for this collective. Fears, spirit guides, mastery. I love it. Rainbow, promise right there. The divine covenant. So, what are the favors and the opportunities and blessings? The more that you confront and face your fears, with the help of your spiritual team, your divine guides, you're going to master the shit and you're going to see your promises come to pass. Again, it's like for some of you, yeah, there is some unfinished business, but it's within yourself, not so much externally. It's not telling you to try harder in other areas where spirit has closed certain cycles out. It's telling you that this starts with yourself. Once you realize that the unfinished business is within, then you'll look at these situations or these environments that you keep yourself or have been looped in subconsciously. You'll realize you don't need it. You've understood it. Yeah. You're able to move forward. You're not anticipating what was or looking back in the past. Your spiritual team, they're backing you. They got you with the five of wands. You have the four of wands. You are going to master this once you face whatever you fear. I would write down as a journal prompt tonight when you do your new moon intentions to reflect upon what is my greatest fears and how are they blocking me? How are they in the way? May have they been getting in the way already and how they might get in the way? What are these fears? Because I want to receive the promise. The rainbow is like that bridge between the physical and the spiritual realm as well. You have spiritual help. You're not doing it by yourself. You're not out here just tripping and falling over yourself. So there's an opportunity to confront your fears with the help of your divine team to help you master your fears, overcome them so that you can align with your promises, whatever that is individually for you guys. Um, and knowing like what's your birthright, because not everybody's blessing is your blessing. You have to tune into your own essence to receive your own unique favor and blessings. Okay. This is important. I'm going to ask this. The boundary or value that is protecting you in the next chapter. What is the boundary or value to uphold that protects you in this new chapter? What is it? Your divine mission, jealousy, and offerings. Fish at the bottom. Plenty fish in the sea. Do not limit yourself to jealousy and comparison and envy of what other people have obtained and have. Your journey is uniquely your own. But what value or boundary, your divine purpose, what is your intention in this life? You know, where do you feel purposeful? Where do you find joy? Where do you find pleasure? Where do you find a pure sense of self and joy and like selflessness? Tap into that. Ask spirit to show you. When you uphold that desire or that alignment of honoring your divine mission, for some of you that know what that is, to stand on that, to give offerings is to show gratitude. So when you give something, you're not doing it to get something back or to look like the good guy, the good girl, but you're offering from a place of reverence. You're offering from a place of gratitude. These could be literal offerings to the divine. Offerings are not always material things. Ancestral altars is not always about physical things on the altar. What are you offering to your lineage? Is it you doing the healing work that you need to do, that that will help your future generations, even if you don't birth the children, but you could be an example of people around you? How can you offer, what can you offer freely and selflessly to show your gratitude or to show your reverence to the divine source God for giving you life, giving you opportunities, for your ancestors? What can you, or the world, the people around you? That is the boundary or the value, the moral that protects you in your next chapter, is this essence. You have strength in the King of Swords. Again, something with, I want to say, some of you guys, like, this could represent like the energy that you, the archetype that you carry is like a protectress, protector energy, warrior energy. Um, you care about people. You, how do I explain this? It's like you are, sometimes this could be what traps you and what loops you into karmic cycles, is how much you're willing to sacrifice for other people and places and things, like how much you might overextend and give, where you're being called to be like the fish and flow. Okay, you take pride, this is your value, you take pride in being a good person, a good hearted person, and there's nothing wrong with this. You must find balance with this, though, as spirit is saying. Some of you guys may have jealous energies around you. I'm not getting anything dangerous like that, but just like people that don't see their own light, don't see their own divinity, and you might give to them to kind of compensate for that. Be like, no, you're great too. But they're not getting the lesson, they're not doing the work, you know. You can't pick everybody else up if they're not willing to do it themselves. And you have the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So this fire energy as well, air and fire energy keeps coming through. um you must, I feel like for a lot of you, you're being encouraged to stop betraying your own self for the sake of other people. Dimming your own light for the sake of other people's comfort is a big thing. Okay, all right. And lastly, anything else, spirit, with this? And I'm going to pull some oracle cards, like how to move boldly but wisely into the new year of the one, like this year of the one. How to move boldly but wisely into this new year. Okay, like there's a card behind her. It is. Okay. Four of Cups was hiding behind the Nine of Pentacles. So when spirit is offering you your own chalice, your own cup, your holy grail, it's not gonna come at the time that other people or what they have. It's uniquely your own. And if you're paying attention to what everybody else is getting, what you're not, You're gonna miss out on the blessings that spirit has for you. These cards flew out. You have connection, you have release, and you have the key. This is the key to boldly moving forward is center yourself in connection. Pay attention to the connections you have around you. Most important, the relationship you have with yourself and God, source, spirit, your divine team, the source of your existence, the source that anchors you. Pay attention to those connections, and maybe even connections that you give in power to that don't anchor you. Release that. That is the key to release some element of this. Release comparison, release feeling like you're behind or you're left out, you've missed opportunities, and start to really see how much you've grown. Because spirit saying like you've grown. And sometimes like it's not always apparent. You don't see it. It's like if your head is down and you're doing your work, you're not focusing on how other people are acing or passing their tests. You're focusing on your own tests, you know. um yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that. Okay, I'm gonna ask the dragons, I'm gonna ask the fire spirits, what is the messages that they have for this collective. Yeah, you have the key to open the new door to you. But you have to, some of you guys, it's literally you have to release some sort of connection or connections, let them go. You know, it might be bittersweet to cut cords, cut ties, or just accept that they are where they are, not repeating these same cycles. Okay, so you have the green dragon. The green dragon says helps you to tune into the secrets of nature. And there's a key on this card. So there's something significant with keys to pay attention to. That could be a reminder to them, to receive, that you're being gifted with some sort of insight. Okay. It says receive answers and guidance from nature, align with your divine essence. Come through, green dragon. Come through. Um, get yourself some nature time, you know, give yourself 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, to ground yourself in nature and sit. And allow your mind to, like, when you ground your energy, the flow of clarity is going to come to you. Okay. So the fire dragons is like, you know, fire energies and elements are like, we want you to ground into nature. That is where you're going to find your spark again, some sort of clarity, some sort of truth. That's where you're going to find it. It's out in nature. It could be by some trees, literally, like the card, by some trees. All right. Let's get some more energies from ancestors, divine ancestors, divine ancestors for this collective. This message for the Sagittarian moon. It's this energy of reset. It's this energy. Thank you. The trickster, ego and excess. Okay. Trickster spirits, they're funny. Some of them could be funny and humorous, and some of them just full out just like fuck with you. And it could feel like a cruel joke sometimes. This is giving devil card energy. So this could be connected to Capricorn energy, Capricorn season. But some of you guys, like, you may be kind of being self, like kind of misleading yourself into, um, you see how these two people, they're chained by this web that this, whatever this spirit is, right, the trickster spirit, weaving yourself into a destiny or fate that was just contractual, that was just seasonal. It was not meant to last very long. And with Capricorn energy, Capricorns are known to be the hard workers. They're also ruled by Saturn. Saturn can be a tough sign for our lessons and things like that. It sharpens our iron. But I feel like certain things that were meant to just be the people, places, and things that were meant to sharpen you, help you to develop as a person, and maybe even rub off on them as well to sharpen them, their iron, their character. Like sometimes it's like you weave yourself into this contract that you may feel like it's meant to last long or it's meant to be your destiny, and that is something that's keeping some of you stuck. And you feel like the universe is playing a cool joke on you because you feel like, well, I thought this was something I'm supposed to walk into. I'm supposed to give my energy into this. I'm supposed to give into this connection. It's almost like something that feels like it's divine, but it's not divine, or it's not meant to be more than what it was presented, if that makes sense. Like a spark happened. It was not meant to be a spark that says, oh, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where I belong, or this is where my purpose lies, or this is my person. Because some of this is like a connection, a romantic connection, or these are people that I'm meant to be friends for life with. Some connections, again, they're meant to sharpen you and you to sharpen them. Okay. Think again, Saturn energy. Saturn. So sometimes it's like the ego will trick us into things, and it's easy to blame other people or to blame God, blame, well, I thought you said, but it's like, no, it could have been something for a time that it was meant for you to experience, but it was never meant to be long standing. You devoted your destiny to it when that's not what it was for. Damn. Okay. Number 15. So this is awareness of like what needs to change in your connections. What connections may keep you in loops that were just meant to help you to shift, not for you to stay. Once it was balanced out, once it, that energy of heart, that energy of love, that was the end of the contract. You got what you needed. All right. Earth keepers, keepers of the earth, our ancestors that work this earth, that honored the land, honored the inhabitants of the land, honored the Great Spirit. What is your message during this new moon in Sag? What is your message? What's your message? Oh, y'all got two, huh? Y'all got two, huh? All right, let's see what y'all talking about. You have the seer, number 5, and you have the wolf with protection, 28. So some of you guys, your ancestors have wolf energies, wolf spirits, or wolf spirits speak to you. This is about your prophetic visions and gifts. You guys are given heads up and signs. Spirit wants you to start trusting yourself, because a lot of the things that you're receiving is to save your ass. Not like something negative is going to happen to you, but more so just to protect you from, things that maybe, okay, that's not for you, that's outdated. Don't waste your time. Everyday life situations, don't spend your money on that. Save up, do this, do that. It's like it could be anything, right? A prophetic value. You have a gift of sight. You can see beyond the physical. That is a gift that has been given to you. And this new moon, set the intention to receive your gift fully. Some of you guys, you get the divine signs and synchronicities, and maybe you get scared, or maybe you were taught that it was evil or something. And being a seer does not have to be like doing exactly with cars and shit like that. Sometimes it's just your navigation tool that you're given, to give you heads up, to prepare you, to strengthen you, and maybe as well as others, as a prophetic messenger, if that's what you're called to be. But nonetheless, you are a seer. Fully receive it. You have a spirit guide that could come in the form of a wolf. May not be like a physical wolf, but like a reminder when you see wolves, especially in your visions and your dreams, that is one of your ancestors that are like standing with you. If you had like a kind of like in the movie Coco, if you've ever seen that Disney Pixar movie, I love it. It's one of my favorite. But his dog turns into a spirit being in the spirit realm with wings. It's this big, doesn't even look like an actual dog. Like his dog Dante was small, like the small little um mixed breed dog, a chihuahua or something. But in the spirit realm it was big and colorful. It had wings. So I'm getting like something like that. Like your spirit animal could be like a great wolf, a white wolf or something like that, or a gray wolf. They could have piercing eyes, like they could come to you in visions. And for some of you guys are already familiar with who this wolf spirit is. So yeah, that's their message. Yeah, so I don't see anything else. Yeah, this is just an energy of receptivity. Um, being receptive to your star, your lights, your divine identity. It comes from within, not outside of yourself. That validation is not going to come outside. It's just not. It's not how it works. Your divine identity is not wrapped up in fame and fortune and popularity and how many people you can appease and how many people like you. That's not what divine identity truly is. It's unique. You have to figure out what that is for you personally, because the world can't give that to you or tell you what that is. Only you can find that within, through your divine, assessment, divine receptivity, your ancestors, God's source, of course, your highest self. It knows. That's how you gonna find it. you know so, like, what's your aim, what's your focus? And we'll get into the whole new moon tips and things and tidbits. um I want to use this deck real quick too. Yeah, so if you think about the bow and arrow of like a Sagittarius, the bow and arrow, you can take it as like a symbol of, choosing a precise target, being, truly intentional, because it's important. Like, if you don't have that focus, expansion without focus, it's chaotic. It doesn't aim anywhere. Just having desires and having no clear intent or focus or discipline, it's not going to be successful. Okay? You can ask yourself these questions like, what is it that I'm aiming for? What is it that I should say no to? What is it that no longer is something that I should pour myself and my energy and focus into? What are the standards or values or boundaries that I should hold myself accountable for that's going to protect this vision or visions? Those are good questions to ask yourself, because an arrow can hit a target if it's pulled in the right direction. So Sagittarius energy, or this new moon in Sagittarius, it can definitely teach us that freedom, the flow, that full energy mixed with the magician energy with the 10. So 2026 is 10, technically a 1, that magician and fool energy. If you tap into that, how can I tap into the freedom and the fluidity, the reset, the void of the fool, with clear intention as a magician, willed in powerful intent? So when we think of boundaries and we talk about the word boundaries, sometimes we think of limitations. We think of like a yellow tape of caution: don't come near, don't even try it. But it's actually stabilizers. Boundaries are stabilizers. They are standards that we uphold for specific reasons, not just for cautionary things. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I would really like want you to be receptive and let it be known into the atmosphere with spirit. Whatever cycle is complete, give me the grace, the maturity, and the peace to let it go. Whatever that is. Whatever cycle is complete in my life, give me the wisdom, the discernment, the maturity, the peace, and the grace to just release it and let it go. It is so. Okay. Jupiter is kind of like one of those, I think of when I think of Jupiter, I think of like rolling the dice, right? Rolling the dice is chance, but it's like we take these risks. So your courage and your clarity to even play the game and to trust and bet on yourself is what spirit is asking of you. This energy, this year of the 9 that we're in, 2025, this is it's closure energy. That's all it was about, was closing out cycles that were necessary if you didn't catch the drift of it. So this isn't about carrying things from the old or cycles into your future. This is an opportunity for you. And the message with that, with the number 9, the year of the 9, is like, let's not carry this unfinished business into this new energy. You can't take this with you. This identity, this truth of self, of what you're coming into and embracing, you're not carrying the load anymore. Think the 10 of Wands. Like, the 10 of Wands is like you're almost there and you have all this weight. You're close to where you're supposed to be, and it's like the things that you've carried, you're letting them go now so you can rest and you can breathe, you can reset, you can restart. Okay. All right, so let's get into our ritual, uh in a rule, our ugh, can't even talk, our ritual or like new moon energy tips here. So I got to get the timestamp. Let's get the time. 56:05. Make sure you guys like this video. You guys are showing some love to it, okay? Free game over here, okay? Feel free to add your own takes. Like you might have your own traditions and things that you are used to doing. Oh, I didn't even damn. I be all over the place. Y'all got to catch me. Um yeah, okay. Spiritual court, okay? Spiritual court is kind of watching you this final graduation period. You have test results. So some of you guys, it could be pregnancy because you have test results and expecting here. So some of you guys could have babies next year. And for some of you, this has everything to do with your birthing of something. Okay. You have to let go of the unforgiveness of people that have hurt you because this is blocking you. Backstab, where you feel like you can't trust nobody. You're numbing yourself through some sort of something. It may not be things you're consuming physically in your body, but it could be things that you're watching, you're listening to, or just trying to desensitize. This is things you can't ignore because you're about to birth something. Dirty laundry. It's time to do some clearing. Like, yeah, the cleanse card did come up. So this is just spirit reiterating shit for real. Okay. Um, and then you have doing the work at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Some of you, this is doing some candle work, working with fire energy, rainbow energy, and maybe even water energy or water spirits. All right, new moon intentions. Let's get into the ritual. If you guys have a few things handy, for one, you're gonna need a black pen or black marker, some piece of paper or some parchment or petition paper. Um, you're gonna need at least a candle. Okay, the color that is optional, that is based off of your own preference. And you're gonna need two envelopes, and color is, that's optional as well. Okay, I'm just doing this for my own, what I feel guided to do. Let me clear this out before we get started. I love these cards, by the way, these oracle cards. It's like so on point. Alrighty. Okay. And if you have a journal, because you're gonna need a journal. So the envelopes represent what we are containing and what we're commanding and also what we're releasing. Okay. Our candle, whatever color you choose to use. I'm just gonna show you this candle as an example. This isn't a candle for this, but this is just a candle, right? I love 7 day candles because it gives it time to do the spiritual work. Small candles, tea light candles, they set an intention, but they're not um as grounding and allowing the work to actually flow and like expand through the days. Okay. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like if I get a small candle, I light it, the intention is set, it's moving, but if it needs deeper work, deeper intentions, I'm gonna use something heavy duty. They have bigger candles in this now, like 7 day candles that are thicker. I think they're called 10 day candles actually. So this fire, working with the element of fire, this represents our transformation, our wills, our intentions, our desires, also what we're clearing. So if you have like a safe bowl that you can burn something in, or if you have a fire pit where you can safely do this, what I'm going to get into, or you have a fireplace that you can safely use as well, but something where you can use like for a fire container. Um, and obviously, like I said, something to write with, okay? Paper, pen, or a black marker. So, when you write shit down, it's like you're inscribing something, you're decreeing something, you're making it formalized. So especially when you're burning something, it's very intentional. So you're telling spirit, I'm done, it's finished, or this is what's set, this is where my intention is going. um so yeah, kind of air magic with this is like the messenger energy when you're using these. I'm gonna get into it. I need to find a piece of paper too, because I'm like all over the place. Okay. If you want to use some herbs, you most definitely can use herbs. And I would say like fiery, peppery things like cinnamons, cloves, red pepper, and even like maybe some high John the Conquer root. Also, I feel like would be perfect for Sagittarius energy. And you can dress your candles with that if you feel guided to. Okay. So one of your envelopes is going to be for the release. And I chose like this as an example, a white envelope versus the red envelope. So the white envelope represents the old energies, my old identity, cycles that I've outgrown, um, the standards that I have now set for myself. Anything like around my beliefs of love, around money, relation with self that no longer fit, it's gonna go in this envelope. Once I write it down, okay, it's all going to go in here. This is my message to spirit. This is the wings of spirit. You take this with y'all, right? You're going to fold it away from you, even though the flaps, anything that you're releasing when you're writing, especially when you have your piece of paper, like, let me show you. Okay. Whenever you're releasing something, you always fold it away from you. You don't want it. Sometimes some people are very precise, counterclockwise, someone all that, but like the key is to fold away when you're releasing anything. If you're calling in, obviously you fold the papers towards you. All right, so you need at least two pieces of paper. Maybe it might be lengthy things, you know. You might need more than one piece of paper, or might use more than one side of paper, whatever you're working through, right? It's perfectly fine. The more clear, the more present you are with this release, the better, right? The more connected and centered. When you do spiritual work, you always want to make sure that you're in a space mindset wise and in your environment where you can be totally connected and at peace and present with what you're doing. You can set the tone by calling forth your divine team to surround you, so on and so forth. Cleanse your space, smudge it, spray some, I don't know, some salt water around your room and your home, wherever you're at, your altar space, whatever. Um, you can burn it, this release. When you get to that point where you're done writing and you stick it in your envelope, you're gonna burn this. You're gonna burn this. It's done. You can pray over it. I honor what I've mastered. I release anything that I've completed, any connections that I have completed. I release them in love. Any parts of myself that no longer fit, I send love to that person. I release them lovingly or whatever. And you're just gonna let this burn. If you're the type of person that likes to release the ashes out in nature, even better. You're sending that out to the divine, the universe. You keep the ashes and dispose of them or blow them out into the atmosphere. Then envelope number two, this is the new energies, new intentions. So what I was saying before I get to the new intentions, what I was saying in the beginning of the video, a step that I feel like a lot of us miss or have missed in the past when it comes to setting new energies and intentions and emotion is we don't do shadow work. We don't sit with ourselves and what's blocking us. We want to do money magic and love spells and shit like that. We want promotions in life, but we're not in the vibration to receive it. We think, oh, if I just do the right amount of spiritual work, such as doing the candles and the prayers and the, you know, doing whatever this bitch said on TikTok or this book said, do it like this, that it's going to do something. But you haven't done the proper inner work, and sometimes we're, as humans, we can miss certain steps because we're not fully conscious of ourselves sometimes. That's why it's important to always consult source God and or your divine team, your trusted ancestors, because they're meant to help you. They're there for a reason. They're there as messengers to guide you, to help you, right? So again, this is a effort, a collective, a team effort, a divine family effort. You're not doing everything by yourself. So there's things that we know about ourselves that we know we need to let go of. There's people, places, and things that we know we need to release or have been blockages or whatever. really mean it and set it forth to release it. But before you do set new intentions, your heart posture has to be at a certain level to even receive. Does that mean you're perfect and you're fully mastered? No, but you're in surrender. You're working to release it. And some things do need to be placed on hold before you ask of these energies to come into your life, because you could block a blessing. You could sabotage it if you're not in the right state of mind. Your heart is not in the right place. Like, you still have trust issues, but you're asking for a partner that's faithful and loving. You're not going to know what to do with that. You're just going to push that person away. You're going to keep testing them. Or, I want this promotion, but you don't believe in yourself, or you lack discipline, you lack uh reliability. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you get mad and say, "Oh, how come them and not me?" But you have to check where you're at. What are you willing to sacrifice? When I mean sacrifice, not like in a sinister way, but what are you willing to give up that is not helpful to you? And what are you willing to put forth the work that's not really easy? Some things don't come easy. If faith without works is dead, okay? It's not as simple as writing a petition and calling on a saint or an angel or an Orisha, or lighting a certain candle and reciting a chant that you heard on somebody's TikTok or some shit like that. Some of this stuff is not going to work, not just because of the shadow work aspect, but because some things are not as live spiritually as we think. Some shit is just like made up spells that people do just to go viral. Some shit that your ancestors don't resonate with, your soul or your spirit does not resonate with, but you think, oh, if it works for them, or because they put this stamp on it, that's for me. You have to discern what's for you and what's not for you. Some shit, um it is intentional, based off of tradition, based off of culture, based off of generational things, based off of certain initiations. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not going to get too much into that and like my opinion of initiations, but some things require, if not human people and traditions initiating you, definitely spiritually being called and chosen for certain things. Not everybody is just meant to pick up certain things because they haven't been called to that. Whether it's based off of spiritual maturity levels, whether it's based off of tradition, whether it's based off of culture, whether it's based off of just like, that's not your calling in life. You know what I mean? So discernment is everything, even down to like doing new moon rituals. We're talking about astrological placements, things that play a role in events in our life, astrological things. So like, you know what I mean? Like, some people just kind of get into this trendy shit of, oh, this is a new moon spell. It's a new moon. Okay, so and so did a astrology update, and this is what the new moon is about. And I'm just, it's very, it's lackluster, and it lacks soul. It lacks spirit. It lacks breath and life. It's just a trend for some people. It's just entertainment. It's just some sort of act. It's some sort of cosplay spirituality, rather than it being deeply rooted. So when you're tapping into new moons and full moons and waxing moons and waning moons, these different moon phases, they have significant spiritual purposes and reasons. When you're working with water spirits, when you're working with fire spirits, wood spirits, iron spirits, whatever, dragon spirits, mermaid spirits, fish spirits, I don't know, snakes, wolves, there's essences and energies connected to these things. So it's like, if we're just doing it loosely because someone else said it, and we're not deeply connected to that, and we're not being sensible about what we're doing, we're not being discerning what we're doing, we're not being respectful in what we're doing, then the magic is not as powerful, or it doesn't work at all. So that's one of the things about being a spiritual being, is tuning into your essence, your energy, and what resonates with your spirit. And some things may change over time as you grow, as you evolve, as you learn, as you mature, as you shed. Um, but yeah. So this, and some things, like when you do shadow work, some shit just requires you to just cry something out real quick, and then you feel like a weight lifted off of you, and that's what you needed to do at that time. It don't gotta be that deep. You know what I'm saying? It's deep, but it's not as deep as we think it has to be sometimes. Does that make sense? So yeah, your second envelope, I chose red because of fire energy, Sagittarian energy, movement, stamina, that sort of thing. That's why I chose the red, but you guys can choose it for whatever, right? Whatever color you resonate with, or it could be another white envelope, doesn't matter. The size does not matter either. Okay. This is just what I had. Um, so on this second envelope, you're gonna write with your paper what you are choosing, not what you're avoiding, not what you're releasing, but what you are choosing. What intentions are you setting forward movement wise? So, like things like who you're becoming. And this is important. This is where the shadow work. This is why I said when you're doing shadow work, you're not just writing something because you think that's what it should be. Like, I want to have $1 million by the end of the year. Why? I'm not saying that you can't or you're not deserving, but why? Where is that desire coming from? I want to be the baddest bitch in the room. I want to be the richest motherfucker in the room. Why? What does that even mean? Why do you want that? Consciously ask yourself, who do you want to be and why? Is it coming from a healthy place or is it coming from a distorted place? Is it coming from a wounded place? Is it coming from a pressure of society? This is where you have to honor your divine identity. This might not be something you come to at, in one day, in one night, in 1 hour. Might be something you have to sit with and come back with. What do your new standards look like? Your new standards, your morals, your values. What are you upholding? What are the new standards you're holding yourself accountable for? What is your direction going to be in 2026? And mind you, we can't map out everything in our future, but what direction steps do you feel that you can do that um, are feasible, that hold you accountable, that keep you disciplined, that keep you motivated? What are those directions that you wish to take? What is the direction of your life that you see for yourself? Write your visions, even if you don't know how it's going to manifest, write them. And what is the version of you that is leading you forward? What is the version of the him or the her, the them, the they that is leading you forward in 2026? What is the version that is leading you? This is going to require you to sit with yourself a little bit, just as probably the releasing aspect, of course, is going to require you to sit with yourself for a bit. And don't rush this at all. Take it seriously. Anytime you do any type of spiritual work, we should be taking it seriously. It should never just be, yes, have fun, because I feel like that's what adds that quality of life to it, that lightheartedness, that creativity, that type of vibe. But don't rush this. It's not a trend. I know like TikTok makes shit look cute and look fun and trendy and stuff, but some of that shit is just purely entertainment. I have to tell you, some shit they telling you to do is like that shit is not going to do anything. You're just playing with herbs. You're just playing with candles and saying some like there. It's just to get views. Like I wish people would see some shit like, and some things may really be like helpful at times, or it just may not be for you. Definitely, oh, how to get this person to call you back in 10 days, like that shit is like, that's bullshit. That's disrespectful to like our ancestors. That's disrespectful. What I'm learning and accepting and understanding about magic is a lot of magic from different cultures and standpoints were for survival, yes, some for healing purposes, using what God left us on the earth to heal, to make ways for ourselves. Cooking is magic. Literal cooking, medicines and things like that. That is healing modalities, all that. That's magic. So we think it's just about how can I manifest some shit? How can I get this person and how can I be famous? That's bullshit. That's like a slap in the face to the divine for real. It's bullshit. There's too many cosplaying witches and stuff out there that just or people that have been misled by someone that's not really about that life, that's just on trend and trying to get views, having misleading many different people into thinking that that's the approach to it. And it's mindless, it has no light, it has no soul in it. It's just for entertainment. It's bullshit. Might as well be like a stage prop event or like some shit for like just for fun on TV, like it's bullshit. A lot of it is. Like, yeah, you'll find some real people on there giving you even then like things that are helpful to some people or might be to one person or might work for you for a season. It may not always be the thing for you. You know what I'm saying? You have to tune into yourself and your divine team for real when it comes to that. And your divine team will like guide you to certain things. There's things that spirit will show me like, oh, do this, do that. Or I feel like I'll smell like my smells, my senses. I'll hear, I'll smell things. I'll constantly see symbols over and over again. I'm like, okay, I kind of get a gist of what I'm being guided to do. Where is my spiritual intentions needing to go? Where I need to do some spiritual work, heal, or my ancestors are calling me to sit with them, to listen to them, or it will come through in different ways. So it's really about you building a relationship with yourself and your intuition and your ancestors, your divine team, God, of course, source. You have to understand the language that the universe speaks to you specifically. That's the thing. That's the key. You may not understand it. Like, okay, you're telling me to collect this rainwater and save it for later. And then later, I need you to use this rainwater for something. Or you keep smelling coffee over and over again. Something with working with coffee, or maybe they want that on their altar, your ancestors. Like, and some people don't go that much into it. Like, that's not everybody's thing. But I don't understand how you can be a quote unquote spiritual person without having connectivity to your divine team, your divine family, and not show them reverence for helping you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you venture through life without having a spiritual connection to anything? I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, yeah, so write your affirmations, write your intentions. You're not going to burn this one. You're going to safely store this somewhere. You can even store it underneath your candle. Okay, you're going to safely store this somewhere or just allow the energy to sit under this candle. The candle color magic to me, like it adds an extra flair, an extra power, an extra flavor. Like if you're cooking something and you add certain seasonings in it, the candle magic part is like an extra ingredient for me personally. It gives the magic, your intentions, your work flavor. So like in this instance, if it's about self and identity, purple, purple candles, yellow candles, gold candles, and simply just a white candle works. And like I said, you can dress it. You can put some glitter, something that means something to you, something that is activating, something that gives you stamina, whether it's red peppers, whether it's cayenne pepper, cloves, cinnamon, some gold glitter, something like something that activates you or that represents that activation. Like I said, High John the Conqueror root, you can use that as well. Definitely for this type of energy. His energy comes to mind when I'm like Sagittarius for some reason. Um, you can say, you can pray over your candle, pray over your intentions. Like, I'm choosing a direction of clarity. I'm moving with faith, favor, truth in my identity. My path is open as I commit to it, just whatever. Keep this at your altar, keep this somewhere safe, like as a reminder. So be honest with yourself. Because Sagittarius are like kind of like jovial spirit, like children that can't lie. Like I see Sagittarius sometimes like they can't. They don't know how to sometimes. Like you might know some lying Sagittarius, but for the most part, they don't hold no punches. So like be honest in what you're doing. Where have you been playing small? What truth have you been avoiding? Um, these are questions to ask yourself, like what does freedom really look like and feel like in your life? What You don't have to have ever experienced it personally to tap into it and feel it. If you can gather that energy within yourself or you can see it in your mind's eye and not have ever physically experienced it in your reality, it's still real. It's still something that can manifest. um but yeah, so the fire energy, that's the transformative. It's our divine will and intentions. Anytime we write something, we're commanding the energy. When we burn something, we're clearing it, we're transmuting it. Um, anything with paper or these envelopes, they are a containment of our intentions. The like I said, the wings of spirit, the messenger, you know, the prayer in physical form. Okay. So yeah, some things like if anybody's interested, like I see my Patreon being restructured in different ways, but one of the ways is like spiritual work in different facets. And like in this instance, since we're talking about like fire spirits and things like that, dragon spirits, knowing when to call on them and assist you and what they're there for. If you're working with herbs, like fire spirits, like what herbs resonate with them, what colors resonate with them, maybe what type of um like certain magic that works with that. Just like water spirits, like fire and water as an earth sign, which is crazy because I'm an earth sign all day, but earth engulfs and encompasses all elements, I guess you can say. But I resonate with fire and water energy mainly. Um, so I'm very familiar with that. So yeah, like even if it's like air, wind spirits, things like that, like what energy connects with that. You don't have to be a specific zodiac sign to only work with certain things. The more powerful, the better, like when you're tapping into the elements that govern you. Because it's like you're taking again your divine energy signature. You're tapping into all aspects of yourself. You're not just a one faceted being. So yeah. So if you are choosing to work with fire energy, just understand that fire, it clears hesitation. It's a very powerful force. It's not a fearful based energy whatsoever. It's not. Um I kept picking up iron too, like the iron spirits, guys, like anything that deals with iron. These are usually your protector spirits. These are the ones that enforce those boundaries and protection. They're also like the warriors, the authority. Um, but yeah, the wood, even as well. I mentioned the wood spirits that deal with ancestral memory, deal with our roots, things like that. So this would be usually connected to our ancestors that are connected to us through our blood, through our bloodline, our roots, where we come from, our ancestral memories, our lineage, things like that. But even like nature spirits, like fairies, um, trees, plant spirits. There's people that's really up on game with that. Like, if anything, like my earth element that I add in my magic is always herbs. Like, I'm very connected to using herbs, tobaccos, things like that. Um, Sometimes even fruit and food and magic. I feel like that's also connected to like the earth grounding energies. But there are some people that are very connected to like they know they're very respectful of mushrooms when they use them, certain um, hallucinogens, things and plants and things like that for that, crystals, shells, that like, certain things like that. There's different ways that you can tap in and honor these spirits differently in your work. And you might be called to different things at different seasons. You might need some earth work at some season or at a point in your life or with something specific where you might need some water energy, um, or you might be called to work or to assist or help in some kind of way using these different modalities. It just depends on your, because I can't even say like what you're into, because sometimes it's like something that you are not into, but you're called into at some point and you're just drawn to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, as far as like our ancestors, they are literally our backup. They are our support. They are our path way showers, path clearers. Like we don't do this work alone. Never. We're not meant to. Our ancestors, they're not here to control you. They're not our minions either. We're not here to control them. But they are a part of the journey. They live within you. They are a part of you. And some of your ancestors, they are not blood related. Some of the ancestors are through cultures, through different timelines, or different. If you are a poet, you are a musician, you may resonate with different musicians, poets, things like that, that you guys have similar energy signatures, you are connected to them, those can be ancestors as well. It does not always have to be, oh, that's grandma, or that's grandpa, that's auntie and uncle and whoever else. It does not always have to be that. So, yeah. And the way that you honor them is like you honor them through what they've contributed in their life, what how they, how they survived, how they thrived, and you choose to honor them through your path, through your life. I almost forgot something else too. Speaking of like Sagittarius, like horse energy too, like we can't forget that. Horses and unicorn spirits, if y'all are like my mystical girls and guys, y'all love like that realm of energy. Like those spirits can resonate with like your dreams, your destiny, maybe even like freedom and liberation and stuff like that. Horse spirit is going to be very powerful simply because we're moving into, when we go into the Chinese New Year, the zodiac sign that governs this year, or 2026 year, excuse me, next year, is going to be the horse. So that is something significant, the year of the horse, which is going to govern our freedom, our momentum, our endurance, our spiritual endurance, our ability to move through long distances without losing heart, without losing faith. Unicorn essences can tie into this in different ways, more like the spiritual side, where the horse is more of the physical, grounded side of things, practical side of things. The unicorn can represent like that inner child, our pure intentions, our dreams, our goals, our prophetic visions, our literal sleeping dreams. So unicorns are mystical. They are once in it's like something that you don't see every day. You just hear about it. That's the type of energy that you tap into. It's like your unique energy signature, and your dreams and your goals are going to be connected to that. Okay. So if you are connecting or inviting that horse energy, or that unicorn energy, set that intention. Help me move towards my goals without abandoning myself. And my favorites. My last but not least, my favorite. I can't forget the dragons. Can't forget the dragon spirits. Okay, dragon spirits are very powerful. Okay, um, they are a force of their own. They are helpers as well in their own way, but they are very powerful and very sovereign in their energy, not to be messed with. So they can be our protectors for sure, but um, that fire energy represents contained power and sovereignty, especially when it comes to what comes out of your mouth, your words, your voice. Okay. So you can tap into that when you're trying to tap into your spiritual gifts and power in your voice, within your voice. Same thing with siren energy. Siren energy is a bit more seductive, a bit more feminine in essence, creative and flow. Whereas like dragon spirit, dragon energy is more assertive, more masculine in its expression, verbal expression. It's transmutive in its expression. Where siren energy can also be cleansing in its energy and expression. So it's just different ways. But dragon spirits, um, big energy, big fire energy. Okay. Commands, I should say, commands. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to keep y'all too long. Um, but yeah, everything is about alignment for real. Like only take what truly sits with you and resonates with you. And I hope that anything that I've said inspires you to tap into yourself and find like your own pathways, your own magic. Is it something? How can I contribute? What does magic look like? Because it's different. You'd be surprised. Like magic is not just candles, and it's it's so many layers to magic. It's healing, it's creativity, it's so many different things. So, you know, may we choose ourselves, may we allow the divine spirit, our divine team move through us. And hopefully this energy, like we have our focus, our aim, we clear our way for ourselves and prepare. Okay. So as we release tonight's new moon, and you can continue this tomorrow night as well. Like this could be like take this energy and wield it in for yourself, because we're in Sagittarius season still until we're not. I think we'll be in Capricorn season soon, in another week, I think. But use the Sagittarius energy to focus on your aims, your goals, um, and then take that Capricorn energy for these last couple weeks that will be in December for that discipline aspect. You know, doing maybe the heavy duty work. Use that Saturn energy to help you with that. You know, because we've already we're already who we're supposed to be in essence. Like that is there, but it's just like fully aligning with it and stepping into it. Okay, so this isn't about you asking for permission to be a certain way or trying to live out someone else's path. This is you doing you. Okay, who are you choosing to embody and be? What is your new beginning? What does your reset year look like to you? Okay, so yeah, let Sagittarius be that reminder of the human self that chooses, that asserts, and that fire energy, that horse energy that liberates and has the stamina to move on that shit. Okay, you just need direction. You don't need permission. You just need direction. So, um, yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Okay. It was my pleasure to come on here and, you know, do this for you guys. So happy new moon manifesting, y'all. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Y'all be favored. And I'll catch you in whatever we doing next. But yeah, y'all be safe. Oh, before I let go, before I get off of here, I forgot. I do have my yearly divine insight readings. Those are still available until the December 31st. So I have a few bookings for you guys that would like a consistent check in with yourselves throughout the year. So my yearly package is going to be a 12-month package where you have energy check-ins every week with me for those 12 months, where you tap into any readings or any topics, any subjects, anything that you want to tap into. Also, some spiritual doula sessions for anything that maybe you're grieving, working through healing, going through transformations, 4 prescriptions each week, 4 spiritual prescriptions if you're someone that needs some spiritual work that you want to tap in and do for yourself, that's personalized and tailored to you, as well as journal prompts being sent to you those weeks as well. Priority scheduling. Then I have a soft divine insight um, yearly package where it's every month. So throughout those 12 months, every month you'll have a spiritual insight reading, kind of similar to the first yearly portal. The yearly portal is every week for 12 months, but the soft package is going to be every month for 12 months. And then I have my Divine Insight 2026 reading, which will be available throughout the entire year. So we'll tap into different areas of your life throughout that year. We'll also tap into what's guarding and governing you, what's protecting you, who's around you, what energy archetype are you to embody, and so on and so forth. So you're fully prepared throughout that month and the months ahead for 2026. So that is available on my website as well. The yearly portal packages are also available on my website that you can book as phone session or video chat sessions with me. Okay. The Divine Insight 2026 read is sent by audio to your email. Okay. So audio recorded readings via email. But yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. I just wanted to come on here. Hopefully, this is and something that is inspiring to you, gives you some heads up, like just something new, something to sit with, confirmations maybe of things that you've been working through, sitting with, book with me, whether it's one of the insight readings for 2026 or just other readings. I have an abundance of different readings on my website that you guys can choose from. And yeah, y'all be blessed, be safe. Okay, I'll catch y'all soon when I see you. And until next time.